Yeah.
Hey, welcome to a JourneyNOW podcast.
Yes!
It's just me and Mike today, kinda.
Yes, alright, let's set the stage.
Because the apocalypse is upon us.
Well, alright, so first of all, we have a standing 10 o'clock meeting
Yes.
to record the podcast every Tuesday.
Every Tuesday.
And so Kevin and I were here at 10.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like we are. Oh, and someone's knocking.
Somebody's knocking.
Oh, someone is coming. So just for the record, it started with Kevin and Mike.
Yes.
Oh, hello, you two.
Hey,
Soda.
Here he is.
Here he is.
Yeah.
Everybody, it's 10:02. I'm actually here.
That
Makes it even worse.
Susie's late, so I'm like, shocker.
Yeah.
You know?
Totally. Hey, we've got to do some hat commentary. Just very
well,
quick.
you had a drop off today.
Yeah, what does that mean?
I had to drop off my car.
Oh!
See, I thought he had to go drop something off at the
I thought that was
Yeah.
like a bathroom reference.
Yeah.
Because here's the text we get. Apparently I have an appointment at 9:40. I'm just dropping it off.
Oh my God.
So they say.
Oh my God.
So I have no idea what you're talking about.
I love it.
I wonder what they're testing.
Yeah.
Sorry. Nope.
Did you? That could
Yep.
be, yeah.
That could be a lot of things. Nope.
Yeah,
Just dropped the car off. Nailed it. Hillary brought me here.
Oh.
Nice.
And let's be honest. Us three played the pickleball. this
We
morning.
did.
We did. So
We
we're
did.
here.
We're here.
And
what was
I
Suzie doing?
forgot some undergarments.
Oh.
And
Oh,
I
so
said,
you were literally playing
I said,
pickleballs.
Hillary, no. Wait a witness. But I said to Hillary, I said, Hill, will you bring me some Underoos? basically?
Yeah.
And she forgot. And so on our way here, I'm like,
no.
come on, Hill.
Yeah.
I said, babe, could we just stop by like a Walgreens or something like that? So we stopped by Walgreens and she's like, do you want me to go in? I'm like, yes. So she goes in. Then I thought about it as I'm sitting in the car that anybody that's like sends their wife in has just pooped their pants for sure.
I'm just dropping it off. So they say.
Dropping it off.
Well, I've got to say, I mean, Timmons, thongs are really easy to lose.
Yeah.
So I understand that you
It's-
can forget those.
no.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Sandals.
No.
Yeah.
No.
So anyway, let's talk hat game. What are you shaking your head at us?
Yeah.
What? Oh. Yes, he's in. Yes, this is Edwin.
Hat game.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, this is
he's
YouTube. This is Edwin.
Yes. Hey,
This
there
is
he
our
is.
producer extraordinaire.
Yes.
All right, let's talk hats just very quickly because Kevin
dark, and
has
cold.
Kevin got for he is Rizz'n day. Kevin got a CSX hat, and if you've been tracking the podcast, what
Did somebody bring it?
Yes.
Okay,
Somebody
all
bought
Somebody
it
that
for you?
worked. Yeah.
Okay.
Somebody that works at
Backstory.
CSX, bro.
Edwin needs backstory. So and our
I have no idea.
maybe four listeners do too. Okay, CSX is the
Yeah.
name of the railroad that owns the tracks behind the
Oh.
church.
Okay.
And
Okay.
whose trucks have big CSX on the side of them.
Who
Gotcha.
park on the grass?
Yes.
and
Drive
Kevin.
me insane.
Yes, and Kevin. Oh, good morning, Suzie.
Hey, Susie.
Suzie, our producer's here.
Yep.
Yep. Yeah. Hi, Suzie.
You have to wear my hat.
Suzie enters, righteous and indignant.
Yes.
That was from the show notes last week.
That was from the show.
Oh,
notes last
okay. We're just talking hats. So CSX people park at Kevin's grass. Kevin is, and it's a secret.
Yeah.
Kevin is the get off my
secret.
lawn guy.
Yeah.
Like,
secret.
and we've talked about Kevin has two modes: heaven and Kevin.
Yeah, that's right.
He can bring the kingdom, or he cannot bring the kingdom. So they've experienced Kevin in the fullness of Kevin.
He tries to bring heaven.
Yeah. Well, does
Kevin
he though?
does.
Kevin
Yeah,
tries to bring heaven, but
does,
Kevin often
you
just
know, it's like Tom Tommins. You know, he shows up periodically. Yeah. And you go, oh, I gotta do something about that.
But proof that God is working in our community.
Yes.
Someone from the railroad has started coming to our church.
Of
Wow.
course.
And they brought
Dang.
Kevin a CSX hat. That he's sporting today.
Yes, on
we're
the
very
YouTubes.
proud. Yep, we're
Yes.
very proud of that.
Yes.
So well done, Edwin. Tell us about your hat. What are you sporting today?
It's Family Built Construction, one of my buddies' construction company in Louisiana.
Shout out.
Shout out.
Yeah.
Shout out.
Yep. Do we have a listener in Louisiana?
No.
Okay.
No. We have
Too bad.
two in California.
Yeah.
And
Brad.
the other
And
10.
Brad.
Well, Brad is one in California.
Oh.
Okay.
And one in Australia.
Oh,
What?
that's right.
And Suzie said, and one in Australia.
Suzie said that?
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, she's here?
Oh,
Susie's here.
Suzie, tag her it.
You can stay.
Oh.
Why not?
Okay. Just for the hat section.
Okay, and your hat? Steep
This is just a
summit
a dumb hat that
chain
I
lift.
got at a thrift store. I don't know. I don't even. Who knows?
It's a chairlift hat.
Yeah, your face is a chairlift.
Okay. Big Nate just got in a car accident, so I need to take this. Love you guys. He's
Okay.
risen.
Thanks for
Is he
sharing.
okay?
Is he okay?
I don't know. I got to check. He said I got to answer.
Come
Love
back.
you.
Come back.
You can tag
Parenting's
in.
awesome.
Yeah, it's everybody has one. Wow, here we go. Wow,
What a day.
what a day.
day.
And school closes early today. Well, happy Tuesday.
Happy Tuesday.
Yes.
Suzie, glad to have you.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, so good. You get to sit in the fun chair.
Fun chair.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow.
Okay, I don't even know where to go from there.
Severe weather today.
Yes.
Severe weather.
Sus weather, as the
Apocalypse.
kids say. Yeah.
Yep.
Everybody's trying to figure out what to do.
Yep. Keep these. It helps with the zombies, the severe weather.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Suzie, your drinks over here.
Thank you, Stanley.
Thank you.
Yes.
Suze, how are you?
I'm pretty good. Yeah. It's been a full parenting 24 hours.
Oh, wow.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. Full.
Super great.
Full.
Full.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And yeah, we don't need to go into details.
No,
Yeah?
we're killing it.
Perfect. Oh, it's one of those.
Yeah. Yeah. We're killing it. But, it's good.
Yeah.
No,
She
it's
didn't-
not
it's-
good.
She didn't
It's
say
It's
him.
so hard.
She didn't
It's
say
always
him.
an invitation, right?
Yeah.
Always an
To
invitation.
what is your invitation this time?
to deeper growth?
I know, but what is what is your invitation on this one?
That's a great question. Well, I've been working on not reacting.
Patience.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So slow to
Like
react.
when somebody would say something.
Yes, when something's amiss,
Yes.
afoot.
A foot.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been working on, just trying to like stay with myself and process it with Jesus and then come to the table.
Oh,
Yeah, it's hard
it is hard.
because I'm a pretty reactive person in case you haven't noticed.
Is it working? Like, does that work?
I don't know. I'll let you know.
Yeah.
This is new for me. New practice.
Parenting is so easy.
Yeah.
Oh, Mike's back.
All right. We've got bumper problems. Suzie, why don't you take my chair?
Hey, come on over.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. So just update. Nate's good.
Parenting
They turned
problems.
car turned into him as he was going straight.
Of course.
Other person's fault. Police are on the scene. Nate's taking pictures. Boom.
Wow.
Yeah. Well done.
Cars.
Well done, Big Nate. Sorry, Suzie.
Cars.
We were just talking about
And
parenting.
this is in Ohio, right?
This is in Ohio.
Yep.
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 Yep,
And
where it's lawless.
and we're in Tennessee.
And we are
First
in
call.
Tennessee.
First call. Call my dad in Tennessee. I'm in Ohio in a car wreck.
Perfect.
Yep.
Hey.
That's how it works.
I like it.
That's how I usually get
Anyway,
contacted.
he did great. He'd already taken pictures. There's something leaking. He called 911. Perf.
Okay.
So well done, Nady.
Did the airbag go off?
I did not ask.
Okay.
Wow. Wow.
That felt like a very personal question.
That's poor parenting.
And
Wow.
I did want to say, Nate, how's your airbag?
Yeah.
It just
Well,
felt,
that's-
it felt like
that
that's the
sounds
wrong
personal.
time
Feels like
to
a
ask
personal
that
question.
question.
Yeah.
Anyway, Suzie, I'm sorry. I'm sorry to
okay.
have booted you.
It's all right.
I just told Nate, I'm like, Nate, you're so important. I walked out of a podcast recording, but you're not that important that I'm not going back.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, you just got to right size the situation. Anyway, what were we talking about?
We were talking about parenting, actually. She's had a 24-hour killing it experience.
A 24-hour killing?
It hasn't
It.
24 hours.
Not him.
but just
It.
killing it as a parent.
Yeah.
Oh, killing it.
Yeah.
Oh, Suzie,
Yeah,
you've
yeah.
been killing it.
Yeah.
Oh, give me some.
Yeah.
That could be facetious.
A little facetious. Sarcastic.
Oh,
Sardonically,
Okay. I was like,
yeah.
well, what? Give me your secrets.
Yeah, no.
Okay.
Please.
No secrets. Oh, okay. All right. Yeah. Yeah.
More kids later. And
No.
You have secrets, just none you want to share. Yeah.
I do.
Much sooner. Yeah. It's, what do they say? You grow up with your first kid.
Oh man.
And it's true. It really
I have a
is.
friend who told me that
It's true.
the first get burned.
Ooh.
So
Okay.
Not always.
Well, that's encouraging.
But you do have a
I
tendency.
mean, Nate is my
Yeah.
firstborn.
Trying to get to adjust
Yeah.
in the second
Yeah, you do
batch.
have a tendency to overcook the first round because you're.
My
Yeah.
oldest would definitely say he was over.
Oof.
Yeah.
Yeah.
calls himself a sacrifice.
Oh. Which
So
feels
killing it,
good as a parent.
which ties into killing it,
Yeah.
right? Because that's what you do with sacrifices.
right.
And speaking of sacrifices, it was Easter.
It was good transition.
Yeah.
Yes.
Let me just say, I had a great week of Easter prep. I first get a text from Suzie that says he is risen, and it's RIZZ''N.
Yeah.
If you're not familiar with Riz, as is the discourse, and we've had to instruct Kevin a little bit and catch him up.
Yeah.
So that was great. And then
Sure.
I find out that you can buy a Bible with the founding documents endorsed by presidents. And I thought,
Jesus help us.
I was like, wow, what a great opportunity to worship the baby Jesus on Easter week. And so it was great. And then we had Easter, and Easter was great. We had Good Friday service. Phenomenal. Suzie Lind did great. Or should we say, what do you call a female bishop? Just bishop? Or is it bishopress?
I don't know.
Ooh, that
sounds.
I don't think there are female bishops. I think that's part of the problem. I don't know. Maybe there are.
Bishopress.
Well, I don't, because
Shepherdess.
because
Okay.
deaconess.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
Right.
Yeah.
And but I know, like Bishop Todd, he holds a bishopric, right?
Yeah, he's
Rick?
I don't know
Bishopric?
what that is. I don't know what
Bishopric?
He's a bishop.
Right over
I
a
call him BT though.
BT.
Yeah, because I mean he's not my bishop. He's my friend.
Right. So if you were a bishop, we'd call you BS, and it'd be
There you
perfect.
go.
Come on.
There it is.
But we did celebrate Easter,
Better than
guys.
We did.
It was awesome.
We did.
Despite the travails, we
It was
had
a great weekend.
we had a great weekend.
Yeah.
And if Brad, we love you. We wish you would have been here.
Totally.
'Cause
it
it
would
was-
have been complete if
it w-
Brad was here.
We had a Brad-shaped hole in our hearts.
We did.
Yep, we did. And so Good Friday was great. Easter was great. Highlights for Easter for you guys. Anything that jumped out at you? Because we're all just really happy to celebrate together, and we
I
had
got
a
a
great
hat.
dude.
Jesus rose from the dead.
And as evidence of that,
CSX.
yep. Love your enemy. Bless those who persecute you.
I think an overall thing that I really loved about Easter Sunday in particular was that nothing felt forced or contrived or produced. Like there wasn't the obligatory Easter sermon with the invitation to receive Christ at the end. There wasn't the supercharged music to get everybody like fired up. It just was it felt very much just like us with a little bit of extra hospitality because we
Donut
holes.
Yep.
Jinx.
Donut holes. And the room was fuller than normal because it's a holiday
Nate's
weekend.
calling.
Right. Okay. Yeah. And Tim threw peeps at. No, you didn't throw them.
Rob.
Yeah.
Some peeps out.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
really great. And then Tim just like there was a moment with Tim where you shared from your heart in like a very real time way. So
Yeah.
And that was like a last minute decision.
Totally.
And so I don't know. I thought it felt really good. And I've had so many Easters where I've been exhausted at the end of the day because it took so much like emotional, mental, physical energy.
Right.
And
Not this year.
not this year. Like this year, it was like I went home, I made lunch,
Yeah.
went to a rock show that night,
Wow, that you did. Yeah.
Hey Tim, just as a side note, when you share about your cancer and stuff, does it feel awkward for you? Does it?
Well, it's funny because I share it. I mean, most
when you're
every
on the road-
week of my life.
Yeah,
I'm
when you're on
sharing
the
it.
road, right.
X amount of times a weekend,
Mm.
and I rarely get emotional on the road. But here,
Right.
and I remember this in my last community too that I was really invested in.
Yeah.
When I would talk about it, I would just cry, and it's. I think it was partly just because these are my people, people that know me, and most people actually don't even know about that in our community. Like it's not something that I talk about much.
Right.
Not because I'm trying not to. I just don't want to make that a.
Yeah, but here's the thing that was really helpful for me as like one of your good friends and coworkers that I see you like, very often throughout the week. It's because there are so many people who are like more, I guess, acutely ill is what we would say. Like they're like really sick with their cancer.
Yeah.
Like you know, we're thinking about those people so much and tending to those people so much that it's not that I forget about your cancer, but it's like sometimes it just kind of goes to the back of my mind because you are, praise God, doing really well. And also, like, I think about what it would be like for me if I carried that. It would be really hard. And, you know, it was a good reminder for me of what you carry every week. And, you know, I just don't ever want you to feel alone in carrying that.
Yeah. Thank you.
It just doesn't come to mind.
Yeah. Yeah. It's always in my mind.
Yeah.
But, yeah, thank you. It was really beautiful to share it here. And it just was like, oh, these are the people that I'm getting to be in life with. And, and again, most people didn't even know that about my journey, past, present, and future. So it was really emotional and beautiful for me too. And then to sing like that second service, I just couldn't sing that song, you know, because when you put your own context into, when we sing these prayers, most of us generally aren't thinking about the context of our lives. We're just singing them because we know how to sing them. But for me, then all of a sudden I'm singing this song, All My Life You've Been Faithful. And then every lyric of that, I literally couldn't even sing.
That song crushes me every time.
I love that the community sang and helped me pray it, which is cool.
So you couldn't sing it because...
I was just emotional. I was just like, I was trying to not ugly cry.
Right.
Fair. You did a great job.
Ugly crying?
Yeah.
I did ugly cry, just so you know. Very much so did ugly cry.
Yeah.
I know you talked about it as a gift, which is hard to fathom in my mind. I get it. I understand what you're saying because it changed the way you live. It changed the way you get up in the morning. It changes your life drastically.
Yeah.
And I feel very honored to be a part of that. But when you say, I think I wouldn't give it up, is a strange statement for most people.
Totally.
And holding that tension between the pain of it and the struggle of it with what it does for you to bring life to you is fascinating.
Yeah, I mean, I again, cancer is the dumbest thing. It's so stupid.
Sure.
Any of these illnesses are the dumbest things ever.
Yeah.
So I'm not a fan of any of those things.
No.
It's just it's what it has done in me. I mean, all the death that you've experienced, Kevin, that is so tragic, terrible. Nothing is good about any of the deaths, which there are so many that you've experienced in your life that has shaped you so much.
It has.
And so we sit and grieve, and we have to continually grieve that, and I have to continually grieve my stuff. But there's also this gratitude on the other side of it going, and I am shaped into a human that can have more sobriety in life because of these things, you know?
You said something about how you're learning to hold grief and gratitude together. Can you say more about that, what that looks like for you?
Yeah, I think in the beginning, it was just, you know, what Christians would always say, the shoot Christians say, is just like, let's just be thankful for today, which is so good. And that practice has really shaped me.
Yeah.
But let's just move past and be thankful. God's going to heal you. Keep believing that God's going to heal you. And then he will, you know?
Yeah.
So it's just like, we just push past the sadness of just sitting in the sadness and grief of this incurable diagnosis that's in me, you know, this cancer that is wearing out my heart every day, you know? And there are just sad things a part of that. And I think for a long time, I tried to kind of push past those and embrace it for a little bit and then move on. Just let's move on instead of letting it really be sad.
Yeah.
So I think I've been working through that concept of grief and living in the grief, living in this healthy grief, and then living with healthy gratitude on the same, you know, at the same time.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Usually like we're lopsided in those.
For sure. For sure.
Too much grief. Like I can just sit in grief and I can forget that I woke up again today. Right.
Yeah.
I mean, we all know people that, or we've been in those places.
Yeah.
And there's like, at some point there needs to be a place where those equal out a little bit.
Right.
Or it's just living in gratitude and not and wallpapering over the grief. Is
Right,
kind of
and
the way
not
I'm
really
saying it.
acknowledging the mess, the hurt.
Yeah, just acknowledging it and
Yeah.
giving it its own space so that I can, in a healthy way, grieve it, not just sit and go, my life sucks, everything sucks, everything sucks, everything sucks, but in a healthy way, grieve it.
Right.
So, yeah, that's what I'm in the midst of learning, and it's really beautiful.
How is it for you, or how is it for your family? Because I'm around your family a lot, and I've also been around young people, kids, and who, they, through their behavior and the way they express themselves, you can tell that they're just really in a lot of pain because of what's going on with their parent, whatever it may be.
Yep.
But your kids are not like that. I mean, your kids are very much a reflection of the gratitude side of you. Like even my kid has acknowledged how the Timmons kids say thank you all the time about everything. And it means something. And they're very healthy and very jovial, and not in like a pretend kind of a way at all. It's very authentic, So what is it that you, like, how do you carry it with your family?
Yeah, I mean, I remember the first time. So my kids were.
What year did you get diagnosed?
2001 ish.
Okay.
Somewhere around then.
Yeah. How many kids did you have?
So
when you
Zero.
none of your kids.
Yeah.
were-
So we waited. Hillary and I waited 9 years to have kids because it was like,
Who knew?
who knows what's happening with me?
Yeah.
They gave me 5 years, so it was like, let's just.
Yeah. But once you got that thing rolling.
Yeah, I
you got-
told Hillary early on. I said, Hillary, I
Let's
totally
have
get it
4.
if you don't want to have kids.
Yeah.
And she said, let's see how it goes. We're going to live as though you're going to be healed. That was in the very beginning, the first year. And then I wasn't after surgery. And then she had a full wrestling match with God for a while.
For sure.
But I remember we hadn't told Malia or Noah. And I think we had the twins. We hadn't told, there aren't books about like, here's how you tell your 4 or 5-year-old, 6-year-old kids that you have this incurable cancer,
Yeah.
And everybody that they had heard about, that they'd heard the C word was dead.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Friends of ours, it was like cancer. And so it's like, oh gosh, now we're going to bring this up. I'm doing okay. So I remember because when I quit working for God, I just said, I'm going to let you open doors for the rest of my life. I'm done opening doors. So you open doors. And so Mike's here.
Mike's back.
Yeah.
Come back in a gentle way, though.
Gentle. We're talking. Yep.
So
he's sharing about his kids and cancer and stuff.
So I remember because I stopped working for him and I just said, Jesus, you open doors. So I said, I'm going to try this even with my kids because I don't know how to talk to them about cancer, that, their dad has cancer when everybody else that has cancer is dead. And so I was at this conference. I was leading this thing with George Barna, and Barna was giving this list of ways that people actually are changed through their hearts are actually transformed by their relationship with Jesus versus just being Christian people. It's this really crazy study. It was like one of his little pet studies that he did. But one of the stages in the 10 was a holy discontent. And the only way to actually know the real Jesus is through this holy discontent. And then through the next one was through suffering and pain and our kingdoms being threatened. And then being put down into the ground. Like that was the only way that somebody could actually know Jesus. And through sorrow. And I was like, these are the actual stages that have to happen for my kids to actually know Jesus. Because that's what I was so worried about was,
right.
Gosh, what will this do with how they see God? If I'm no longer here, how does that work? Come on, Jesus. And yet it was like, this is also, as much as there's grief, there's also this gratitude of saying, in a sense, the only way they're going to actually know the real Jesus is through pain. And what if that's me not being here with cancer, or us living through them having to remember that I have this incurable disease and them walking through that. That could be the way that they know the real Jesus.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'm protecting them from every little possible thing, which is my inclination to not let them ever go through anything hard.
Right.
So,
wow,
that was a big moment. I remember I had just written some blog at that point, and I was in a line. There were people waiting to talk, and because it was one of those shows, and this person comes up and says, "Do your kids know about cancer?" And I ugly face cried. I like the whole line. I was like, I'm done. I can't even talk to anybody anymore, just because I was thinking, no, they don't. And might be the only way that they would know the real Jesus is through this calamity, through pain. Like that they would have to go through that step. And if I get to be part of that step, then I'm in. Yeah. So that was a really profound moment. So we've tried to stay really, we don't talk about it a lot, but I'll ask them often, like, hey, how are you with this? Do you have thoughts about this? Do you think about this? What are your thoughts? So that's been good.
How do they respond to that?
All of them a little different. Anna will just cry. Oof. Yeah.
That's hard.
Yeah. So, yeah, the hardest thing about cancer for me is my kids. Like, you get me crying in a heartbeat. And then there's the danger of future tripping, going somewhere where God is not.
Yeah.
In grief, because we talk about grief, because then you can just grieve things that aren't even here. Right? So that's not healthy either. So I think it's why I probably ran away from grief, was that I don't want to future trip and go somewhere that's not at the moment, because I'm here in this moment, which is awesome, but that would also make me hold back from actually grieving. So, and that would be healthy grief would be on the other side of that. I think that was probably an unhealthy grief. Yeah. So, yeah, so that's part of that. But it was really emotional for me this weekend. Just doing that here.
Thanks for doing that. I think that was very significant. It was.
Yeah, Mike pushed me on it. Really.
Yeah. I'm like, bro, I don't listen. I just said, I really don't care about you. I just think it's a great story. Yeah. And so, and the sermon needed something. I mean, let's just be honest. It needed.
That's why you called me up.
It needed help.
Timmons, come up here.
It needed
help.
Talk
about cancer.
Totally. Do something, man. Rescue.
Yeah.
But your story about your dad too is insightful and helpful and personal. And I've had those conversations with my mother as well. So there's a degree of like, oh. And then to hear you talk and the emotion of that was oof. And then to try to sing the goodness of God is followed me all the days of my life. I
think the thing that I felt in that moment, because I couldn't sing it either, and I'm gonna cry right now just even thinking about it. I think the thing that was really something to behold was I felt so sad in that moment. Like I couldn't sing the song, and I could tell you were moved by it. Yeah. And the thing that was so great was like I could sense that there were a lot of people in the room who have their own story of thing that they're grappling with and how they feel about singing those songs. And there was this moment where like everyone just stood up and whoever could sing sang. And I felt so surrounded in the best way. Like I just there was just this like absence of loneliness, you know, in that moment of like, okay, it's not just me who's going through something really hard and sad. And like a lot of people could you could feel that it was resonating with people. And I just like very clearly was aware of how not alone I felt in that moment. And so
that is so well said.
Yeah.
Suze.
Yeah. The community carried the day.
Yeah. I mean, it was just so incredible.
But that is the picture. And I think you just articulated it. That's actually probably what I felt even more about this weekend was the gift of that moment that kind of broke a bunch of walls down, just a bunch of barriers down. Just
right,
like we didn't need to just sing songs for song's sake.
Yeah,
like we got to actually pray these songs, which is what my hope is as we're trying to transition our community into not just singing dumb Christian songs, but into like actually emoting and praying these songs because we have to.
It felt like actual worship.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
You know?
It did.
I mean, that sounds so crazy. But I think everybody was connecting
Yeah.
with each other and heart and
Yeah.
mind and
Yeah.
I think too, the other thing that was, for at least for me, that was happening was like there wasn't this like I didn't feel like, as a person in the gathering, I didn't feel this like need to go after God, you know, like chase after him. I felt like very welcome to just be sad and stand and sing and like trust that I was going to be found by God, you know, in that. And that was like a really big moving thing for me too that happened, is just this like, and I think that's part of what I mean by like the it wasn't a contrived day. It wasn't a produced day. Like we didn't have to, at least for me as a worshiper, and I didn't have to try to do anything. Like I just could be and receive, and part of participating was giving. You know, like it was because the whole community felt so, like I said, I felt surrounded. And so like there was just this like natural giving and receiving of community in that moment that was like, I have very, very few times in my life where I can like look back and think that happened.
Yeah.
So it was, I mean.
And how many church services have you been to?
I mean, a lot, you know, and.
Yeah.
I mean, in some circles, we would say the Holy Spirit was really moving that day.
Yes.
But the fact is, he's moving every day, all the time.
Yes,
And I was just
connected.
Yeah, I was awakening to it for a moment. And it was really great.
It was a good morning. It really was.
We have any other questions that came through, or?
We had a bunch of questions. I thought even in the, I was going to bounce one off Mike because he got stuck with this one, but I have to shift it because of what we ended up talking about here. One of the questions that got asked, and I think we tried to ask it during the gathering, was, you know, we talk about the death of Jesus, we talk about the resurrection, and why? Just why? Why would he do that? And we didn't make the focal point of Sunday because God loves us. We made the focal point because he was human. And sometimes the conversation revolves because he was both fully God, fully man, the whole experience of being human. He experienced the sorrows that we experience. He experienced the joys that we experience. He was terminally ill from the moment he was born. He knew where he was going, what was going to happen to him. And so there's this living with the sorrow of he's going to have to die. But all that to say is that the motive is clearly that he loves us. And the motive behind that is that he made us. And there's the image bearers that we are so valuable to him that he continually moves towards us out of a motive of, I just love you and I want you to experience what I intended this to be. And so Jesus dies and he experiences death, and death is with us and will be with us and is a part of this humanity. And that was part of the tension we were trying to hold. That's why we had you, Tim, talk, and that's partly why the resurrection means so much, is that death loses its grip. It loses its sting. And rooted in that is the power of God and the love of God, as we get to experience a little bit of heaven, and we also experience death.
I love the taunt.
Language.
The taunt language of those scriptures that he was reading.
Yeah, Paul really goes after it. Death, where is your sting?
Yes, that's all you got.
And
if death is the worst thing.
Yeah.
I mean, in our culture, death is the worst thing.
It is, yes.
I don't know if that's always been, but that seems to be the worst thing when it may not actually be the worst thing.
Right, because it's the pathway to the next.
Right.
Yeah, to the best thing, which is fascinating.
Yeah.
Yeah, this resurrection is something we say we believe, and yet we can only say we believe because the evidence is one guy 2,000 plus years ago rose from the dead. Now there's a lot of testimony about that. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of changed lives around that. Mm-hmm. And we believe that. Mm-hmm. But there are days.
Yeah.
There are days.
It was interesting. I was talking to a guy yesterday who is just this amazing, prolific, beautiful human being who creates the most incredible art I've ever seen.
Thank you.
And no one's sitting here at this table. But
it's like, oh my gosh, you've never said it to my face before.
But you know, his name is Mako Fujimura, and he is a 9/11 survivor. Like he was stuck under a subway when subway station when the towers fell, and continued to live there for 10 years. And he anyway, he's a really brilliant artist. And he was talking about all these things about his faith and his formation and what he believes to be true about Jesus. And at one point I was sitting there looking at him thinking to myself, okay, he really believes this stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. We're good. I mean, this guy really believes it. So I can too. And I can't tell you how many times I actually feel that way, where like, I'm like you say, Tim, I'm 90% sure, willing to,
Put your whole life
put
on
my
it.
whole life on it.
Yeah.
And every once in a while you meet someone and you're like, they're really smart. They are, healthy and normal, and they believe all the same weird stuff I do. And it's good. Okay, we can keep going. Every once in a while I just have these like moments. And that was yesterday when I was talking to him. I was like, okay, all right, we're good. We can keep going.
Yeah. Over the last few years, I've had to shift. I was taught, and I believed that the church was the answer to the question for the world. Mm-hmm. And I've just totally abandoned that idea. It's Jesus. Yeah. But I was taught that, and I believe that.
I still believe it, but I just don't think it's what we thought it was.
Oh, I just
meaning what?
Meaning, I do think the answer is Jesus, and I think the church is the thing that he designed.
It's supposed to be,
to like be him as the answer
to the world.
Mm-hmm. But we just have sucked at it big time.
Yeah.
Vacuuming. Suck
Is that what you meant?
Man, I don't want to brag about that poll.
Really,
so this weekend,
really
that said something sucks, and I look down and see parents going like, "Oh," or kids like, "Ooh, Daddy." So all I can think of is
that was funny.
It's like a vacuum.
It's like a vacuum. It sucks.
Pulls up all the dirt.
Yeah.
That was funny.
Yeah.
That was
brilliant.
Yeah.
Sadly, the people on this podcast that are listening have heard much worse than that.
Much worse. Much worse.
But yeah, we've just failed miserably.
Yeah.
And he knew that we were going to fail miserably, which is the irony of the whole thing.
Yeah. The going through COVID and going through that, and the church being so exposed for its hypocrisy and so exposed for its inability to just get along with itself, let alone with the world around it, and the accusations and the meanness and all of it. And I find myself, and I've given my life to this. I mean, I'm almost 40 years in, and that was when it was like, okay, I'm done now. Yeah. This is not what I thought I was in. It's
not what we signed up for.
This is not what I believe this to be. Mm-hmm. And it just keeps happening. So so I had to do some real inner soul searching to continue.
Yeah.
So and now I'm 100% sure Jesus is the answer to the question. I just wish I was better at living it out. Mm-hmm.
So do we.
Yeah.
I know you guys got to work with me.
Trust us. CSX.
Yeah, those guys are like,
yeah, Jesus.
All right, go back to that building. Come back as Kevin instead of Kevin.
So this guy, he works for CSX?
Yeah, he works in the corporate part, not in.
And have you?
I have not met him yet. I only met his wife. His wife walked up to me and said, "Hey, I have this gift for you," because
Do they listen to this? He lives.
It's-
they go to our church.
Yeah, it's the couple they're so cool. It's Utma and Jason, the people who
Yeah.
met in a chat room
Yeah.
on Napster. Isn't
That
that
is
so
amazing.
funny?
They were at Rob's table,
Yeah.
and he found out, and he goes, "You've got to get Kevin a hat."
Oh, that's
Yeah.
perfect.
They're so
That's perfect.
sweet.
Yeah.
They're such good people.
Yeah.
Strong.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
well done, you guys.
Yes.
Well done.
Thanks
'Cause
for the
hopefully
hat.
that will make him
It will.
rethink his get off my
I'll put
lawn.
it on. I'm gonna every time I go out there, I'm gonna put it on.
Yep.
That's
I'm
amazing.
gonna keep it in my office.
It's a cool hat,
It is.
actually.
I like it. Yeah. Thanks for the hat. And on that note, everybody should wear a hat on Easter.
Yep.
And we're so glad you joined us for this journey now. Thanks, Tim. I mean,
Yeah, thanks, Tim.
appreciate it. And thanks to great Nate for keeping
Gosh.
Mike busy.
How funny was that moment when Nate came up like he handed him the Bible or something, and he was like, Nate was like, "I'm pretty much the coolest thing that's ever happened." And Mike just called him out on it. That was hilarious. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Can you hand me that Bible? Oh yeah, I can hand you
Yeah,
that
yeah.
Bible.
Yeah, and how? You know.
Such swagger.
Yep.
Such swagger.
Such
That's your
swagger.
nephew, Brad. That's your
It
nephew.
is.
I love it.
We're out.
Bye.